In the wild, chaotic multiverse of Rick and Morty, where absurdity reigns and logic often takes a back seat, one character manages to leave an unexpectedly profound mark, despite his silly name. Mr. Poopybutthole, a small yellow humanoid in a top hat, first appears to be nothing more than a gag, a bit of comic relief in an already surreal world, but as the series unfolds, so too does the character's surprising emotional depth. Introduced in Season 2's unforgettable episode Total Rickall, he's presented as a longtime friend of the Smith family, a detail that plays directly into the episode's central theme of fabricated memory. Voiced originally by co-creator Justin Roiland and later by John Allen, Mr. Poopybutthole quickly became a fan favorite thanks to his signature catchphrase, "Ooh-wee," and his unwavering optimism.
Ooh-wee, what a cliffhanger. Oh boy, oh my. That's a real crazy ending, huh? Hi, I'm Mr. Poopybutthole from episode 204. Oh, as you can see, I'm still recovering from the bullet shot that I got from Beth. Remember that one? Hoo-wee. Come and get it, kitty. You know, these little fellas help me get through the day. Ooh-wee. Oh, hoo-wee. Feels better.
I got a large pepperoni and some crazy sticks.
Hey, what'd you think of that finale, huh? You think the Smith family's gonna be okay?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, bro. Your total's 1237.
Ooh-wee, you think Rick's gonna get out of jail? Ooh-wee, you think the family's gonna rescue him?
Hey, what
Ooh-wee, ooh-wee, oh! Tune in to Rick and Morty Season 3 in like a year and a half or longer to see how we unravel this mess. Ooh-wee.
Yet beneath his bright demeanor and cartoonish name lies something more, a story touched by loss, loneliness, guilt, and quiet resilience. In many ways, Mr. Poopybutthole is one of the show's most emotionally grounded characters, a mirror reflecting the consequences of Rick's chaotic lifestyle and the fragility of memory and identity. In this documentary, we'll trace the journey of Mr. Poopybutthole, from his mysterious origins to his evolution over the series. We'll examine how a character meant to spoof the very idea of narrative consistency ended up revealing some of Rick and Morty's most tender truths, with insights drawn directly from the episodes, commentary from the show's creators, and reflections on the deeper symbolism embedded in his story. We'll explore what makes Mr. Poopybutthole not just a joke, but a lens into the show's soul. So, let's talk about where Mr. Poopybutthole actually came from, because believe it or not, his backstory is just as weird as his name. Originally, the writers of Rick and Morty weren't even planning on including him in the Total Rickall episode. That spot was supposed to go to a completely different character named Bullet Boy, literally a walking, talking bullet with arms and legs and googly eyes. Yeah, that was the plan, but somewhere in the writing room, they pivoted. What we got instead was a tiny yellow dude with stick limbs, a bowler hat, and a name that sounds like a 10-year-old came up with it during recess. And they kinda did. His name was pulled from one of Justin Roiland's old sketch characters, Titty Longballs. So yeah, it was never meant to be serious, but here's the thing. What started as a dumb joke ended up becoming something a lot deeper. Visually, he's pretty basic. He's this little sausage-shaped guy with a constant fork in his hand and that goofy ooh-wee energy. But if you look closely, even his apartment has these dark little jokes baked in, like a sign that says, "Guns aren't fun." That's a nod to when Beth shot him because she thought he was a fake memory. Turns out he was real. That moment was hilarious, sure, but also kinda sad. And it changed how we saw him. Dan Harmon, one of the show's creators, has this theory that Mr. Poopybutthole might not be human, or even from our dimension. He once described him as some kind of fourth dimensional being who slips into gaps in memory. Kinda like a parasite, but a nice one. The idea is that he doesn't create fake memories, he fills in the spaces where they've been wiped out. Harmon even called him a phantom species that only shows up when time and memory start breaking down. Basically, he's a glitch in the system, but a friendly one, and that's probably why he breaks the fourth wall so often. He's not just part of the show, he exists around it. Like when he does those awkward post-credits monologues or just talks straight to the audience. It's weird, but it fits, because he doesn't totally belong in the show's logic, and that's kind of the point. Now his voice also evolved over time. Early on, Justin Roiland gave him this super fast, high-pitched voice. It was actually inspired by a blind friend Roiland knew from his sketch comedy days, but starting in season 7, John Allen took over and the voice mellowed out a bit. It's slower, deeper, and maybe a little more grounded, which makes sense given everything the character's been through. And yet through all that, he never stops being Mr. Poopy Butthole. He's still upbeat, still hopeful, still throwing out his little ooh wee like nothing's wrong, even when everything clearly is. And that's kind of beautiful, because in a show full of chaos, cynicism, and existential dread, he stays kind, he stays cheerful, and somehow that hits harder than all the crazy space adventures combined. Mr. Poopy Butthole doesn't show up all that often in Rick and Morty, but when he does, it hits. It's season 2, episode 4, Total Rickall. The Smith family is in full panic mode, dealing with alien parasites that insert fake memories into their minds. No one can tell who's real and who's a fraud. Then there's Poopy Butthole, just cheerfully helping out. Ooh wee, whatever you want, Rick. He's cute, harmless, and honestly kind of endearing. But then it happens. Beth can't recall a single bad memory of him, so she assumes he's one of the parasites. She grabs a gun and shoots him, and that's when we all realize he was real the entire time. He's that one cheerful friend who keeps showing up after the credits roll, still smiling, still standing, but then slowly, his story starts to unravel. He's crashed on the Smith family's couch, surrounded by beer bottles, chain-smoking cigarettes, and eating instant noodles. He's a shell of the guy we met years ago, the line that gets you. It's like everywhere I go, there's another great party that I missed. Oof, you feel that one? Morty convinces Rick to stage an intervention, so of course Rick turns it into a whole heist movie parody with Squanchy, Bird Person, Gearhead, even Hugh Jackman. It's over the top, but underneath the silliness, you can see how lost Poopy Butthole really is. He admits it. He drank and drugged himself into numbness. He spiraled, but through the adventure and a little self-reflection, he starts to see the truth. It wasn't just Beth's bullet that ruined him. Rick's meddling played a bigger role. There's even this quiet moment where he writes "Beth shot me" on a wall, then crosses it out. By the end of the episode, he takes the first real step forward. He reaches out to Amy, not with demands, but with hope. It's not tied up in a bow, but it's something, and that's the thing. Over the course of a few sparse episodes, Rick and Morty gave Mr. Poopy Butthole a whole character arc. Not just a funny side character, but someone who falls, suffers, reflects, and starts again. He's gone from background gag to one of the show's most relatable figures. As Cinemaholic put it, he started as a superstar who just wanted a normal life. But by season 7, he's a man in pain, depressed, addicted, and struggling to find his way back. And through all the chaos and heartbreak, there's still a flicker of that old spark, that little ooh-wee, that somehow manages to carry the weight of it all.
Ooh-wee, evil Morty. That was quite a scheme. Makes me wonder if there's an evil me out there. But I guess sometimes I look at my life and I may not even need him, 'cause, well, guess I made a pretty big mess of things myself. Ooh-wee. Never got my job at the university back, remember that? Rick made me do karate. It was kind of funny, but I guess things went downhill from there. Started isolating myself from Amy. Used to tell her everything I was feeling. But then I guess I stopped. Because I wanted her to love who she thought I was, not who I felt myself becoming. Ever think about how horrified the people we love would be if they found out who we truly are? So we just dig ourselves deeper into our lies every day, ultimately hurting the only people brave enough to love us. Wish I didn't do that. Wish I was brave enough to love them back. I don't know. Maybe you should try it. We don't have as much time as we think. Ooh-wee.
So, what is it about Mr. Poopy Butthole that sticks with us? I mean, on paper, he's a goofy little dude with a silly name and a catchphrase that sounds like a squeaky toy. But his story, it's loaded with emotion, meaning, and a weird kind of wisdom. If you look closely, his journey is really about memory, love, regret, and being brave enough to be real. Let's rewind to Total Rickall for a second. That whole episode is built on one brilliant idea. You can't fully trust anyone you don't have bad memories with. It's wild, but it actually tracks. Real relationships are messy. You fight, you screw up, you see each other at your worst. But those rough patches, that's what makes the bond real. So when Beth shoots Mr. Poopy Butthole because she can't think of a single bad moment with him, the twist hits hard. Because the reason she had no bad memories is that he wasn't fake. He was real. And the fact that he almost dies for being too good, that's where it starts getting deep. It's a moment that lingers because it flips the way we think about love. It says, hey, maybe the people who've made us cry, pissed us off, or let us down, those might be the people who've actually been there for real. That same emotional depth shows up again much later in season 7. Mr. Poopy Butthole sitting alone eating instant ramen, smoke curling in the air, and he starts reflecting. Slowly, painfully, he says, I used to tell Amy everything I was feeling, but then I guess I stopped because I wanted her to love who she thought I was, not who I felt myself becoming. Oof, that one hurts. Because yeah, a lot of us have done that, haven't we? Pretended to be fine, to be the version of ourselves we think someone else wants just to avoid scaring them off. But in doing that, we cut ourselves off. From them, from ourselves, from truth. And then he asks the question that really hits you in the gut. Ever think about how horrified the people we love would be if they found out who we truly are? It's such a simple line, but it hits like a freight train. Because underneath all the humor and weirdness, Mr. Poopy Butthole is saying what most of us are too scared to. We're terrified of being seen. We're afraid that if people knew the real us, our flaws, our sadness, our quiet thoughts at night, they'd walk away. But he doesn't stop there. He keeps going. Wish I didn't do that. Wish I was brave enough to love them back. We don't have as much time as we think. And that's the core of it. This weird little cartoon character is reminding us of the scariest truth. Time runs out. We don't get infinite do-overs. The people we love won't always be around, and if we're too scared to love them back, we might miss our shot. All this from a guy named Mr. Poopy Butthole. And yet through it all, he never loses that spark. Even as he's bleeding on the floor in Total Rickall, he lets out a gentle ooh-wee. At the end of Wedding Squanchers with the world falling apart, he raises a glass and smiles, his catchphrase, his whole vibe. It's not just a joke, it's resilience, a way of saying, yeah, life's messed up, but I'm still here, I'm still smiling. Dan Harmon once called him a kind of benign thread in the chaos, and that's exactly what he is. He shows up in the memory-breaking episodes, the surreal post-credit scenes, the weirder moments that blur what's real and what's not. But unlike the parasites, he doesn't cause pain, he doesn't manipulate, he helps, he heals, he forgives. It's like he exists in between, not quite part of the main cast, not quite outside of it either, just there, reminding us of what really matters. And honestly, if David Attenborough were narrating his existence, he'd probably say something like, here we observe a curious creature, resilient, optimistic, heartbreakingly honest, one that even in the face of pain sings its strange little song and carries on. Poopy Butthole's story is more than just a character arc. It's the Rick and Morty blueprint in miniature. Start with a ridiculous concept, then dig deep until it stings. Because yes, it's hilarious that a character called Mr. Poopy Butthole makes us cry, but maybe that's the point. Maybe we need a little absurdity to slip past our defenses to get to the truth. And the truth is, he's us, trying to be loved, screwing it up, laughing through the pain, hoping for one more chance.
Ooh-wee, what a season, huh? Rick Crime Therapy and that thing we did with Roy. Remember that? Sorry I wasn't around. Been busy getting my little poopy butt in shape. Been toning and boning. Whew. You might think I'm overcompensating for the emptiness after Amy left with Poopy Jr., but my trainer Carl says the best way to get over a girl is to get under a 300-pound squat.
Damn right.
Ooh-wee, that's the good stuff. Oh, sugar! Oh, sugar! Oh, sugar! Oh, is it bad? Oh, it's really bad, isn't it? Oh, someone call Amy, tell her I need her, tell her I love her. Not my phone. She blocked me. Use yours. Oh, I am broken.
From the moment he bursts into Total Rickall, beaming with that unmistakable voice and shouting, ooh wee, whatever you want, Rick, Mr. Poopy Butthole lets us know we're in for something different. Something that, yes, will make us laugh, but also something that will quietly take root in our hearts. Across 7 unpredictable seasons, he's shown us more than just comic relief. We've seen him shot by someone who loved him. We've seen him on crutches, recovering. We've seen him lose his job, his marriage, his hope, and still keep going. Still cooking his ramen, still saying ooh wee, still trying to figure out who he is beneath all the cheerful noise. His saga is full of contrasts, absurdity and ache, silliness and sorrow, sharp wit and raw honesty. Somehow, through all of it, he remains the same little figure in a top hat, a tiny oddball constant in a show that questions everything. And maybe that's why he matters so much, because in a world like Rick and Morty's, where universes collapse, identities shift, and nothing feels safe for long, Mr. Poopy Butthole feels. He remembers, he regrets, he forgives, he grows, and most of all, he reminds us what it means to be real. His final, lingering message isn't complicated. It's not dressed up in sci-fi jargon or hidden behind layers of irony. It's simple, plain spoken, almost whispered. We don't have as much time as we think. That one line that truth echoes louder than any explosion or portal gun, because maybe that's the secret of Mr. Poopybutthole. He isn't just a parody, he's a quiet philosopher tucked inside the joke, a reminder to love honestly, live bravely, and laugh even when it hurts. So here's to him, to the silly name that made us giggle, to the aching heart that made us pause, to the ooh-wee that made us feel, Mr. Poopybutthole, a friend, a mirror, and maybe just maybe a little piece of all of us.
Ooh-wee! What a season! Sorry I never showed up, but I got married, I had a baby, I went back to school, I got my GED. What did you do while you were waiting? Hopefully you didn't just around and waste your life. Ooh-wee! See ya for season 4 in like a really long time. I might even have a big white Santa Claus beard and a couple of grandkids and all that kind of stuff. See you